welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is going to be a comparison between the previously released Blu-ray and the upcoming 4K of A Blade in the Dark. So this Blu-ray was an early entry into the Italian collection. It is spine number 6 from 1983. Now this one, when it comes out in 4K, it will be spine number 6 as well. Do know that these movies, you can interchange them. If you want to put them in there, you can. You can upgrade the 4K editions there if you want to. I choose to keep these ones and also put them at the end. When it gets upgraded, it'll go on the end of the kind of run after the one I've just got, which is number 83. So this movie is directed by Lamberto Bava. He is the son of the amazing Mario Bava, and he learned his trade off Mario Bava. Now there is some of his other movies in the Italian collection. First up is Macabre. This is from 1980. This is his first movie. It's a great movie. It's about this woman who has this obsession with this not alive person, if I can say it that way. And the ending of this movie is absolutely crazy. I love it, but it might throw a lot of people when you see it. But it's a great movie, this. In 88, I've done a great version on this. I'd love this on 4K. This would be a great 4K upgrade. Got a lovely soft touch slip there. So that's from 1980 and also from 1984. So just imagine Lamberto Bava's making these movies. He made A Blade in the Dark. He made another one called Devouring Waves. He made Blast Fighter, 1984. This is spine number 4 from 1984. This is a kind of Rambo ripoff. It's a great movie, actually. It's really fun if you can find it. But he does a lot of different genres, like most of the Italian directors did. And don't forget, also in the early 80s, he made the amazing Demons. So Lamberto Bava has got a pedigree, just like his father. I think his father's more stylistic, and Lamberto is maybe more sort of like action and sort of shock horror. But he's a great director, and I really rate his films. So this movie here is a giallo, and it's like a latter day giallo. I would say it's giallo had kind of run its course. It was on the tail end of the giallos, I think, sort of right about 1980. They started to tail off. The 70s was the early 70s was the peak of the giallos from 1970 to about 1977. They were pumping out so many giallos. If you try to collect them all, I think you would probably run out of space immediately just with giallos. And this movie here is a great movie. It takes the premise of a good premise, actually, of this fella who is scoring a horror movie. And when he's scoring the horror movie, these things are happening in his house. He's also got these two girls come to stay, and they're not what they seem. And his sort of journey is trying to fathom out what's going on in this house, and also the fact that he's doing this horror movie soundtrack. Does that tie into the story? Great little story, I think. Quite unique, actually. Does this anyone remind you of a House by the Cemetery? Yes, it does with me. This movie is really gory. And what you've got in here is you've got like the longer cut. Now it's called the TV cut, which I don't understand because usually a TV cut is shorter, it's got less gore in it. But the TV cut is like the full uncut version with all the gore in it. Now in the new one, the 4K, they are putting this one on, and they're also going to put a shorter version on, which is director approved. They both got 4K remasters. They both got HDR, HDR10, Dolby Vision. They've got the lot. So it's got a lot going for it. Now, recently, Vinegar Syndrome released their version of A Blade in the Dark with that amazing slipcover, which is long gone. God knows how much that costs online to get that one kind of slipped together, like we've got a knife in it. And yeah, it was a brilliant slipcover. I did look at it and I thought, oh, I'd love that. But for some reason, I thought, I'm sure this will come out in the UK, and it has. So beware, maybe, when you're getting these Vinegar Syndrome ones that look like they're going to go massively out of print and you'll have to pay a lot of money for them. It could turn up on the 88 collection. It is a bit of a gamble, but this gamble is paid off. Now, this is retailing here at £30. It's one of those other ones that's going for £30. They put the prices up from 25 to 30. I think that's a little bit, especially because it's just this kind of standard 4K. It's got plenty of stuff with it, but it's not one of the big box 4Ks. If it was £30 in the big box, I wouldn't think anything of it. But because it's in the smaller box, I'm thinking a bit too much. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. But I do rate this movie highly. Now, when this came out, it was talking about audio issues, saying that there's some out of sync places. And I do remember watching this and thinking, yeah, I could see a few bits where it looked like the audio was really like quite out. I mean, don't forget this is dubbed, so it never's going to sync up completely. But there was a section in it that didn't really sort of play right, but you kind of ignored it. They weren't going to put it right, but I'm hoping on this 4K they're going to put that all right, because don't forget, Vinegar Syndrome put this out, and I'm sure that they've taken the lent, borrowed, should I say, they've borrowed Vinegar Syndrome's 4K remaster transfer, and they put it onto their disc. That's what I'm thinking. So if they've got it through and it's actually passed all the tests, all I've got to do is really get their files and put it onto a disc. That's my way of thinking. I do think that though, the extras on here, on this disc, you get all the extras on this disc. There's not too many things. There's like a 50 minutes question and answer with Lamberto Bava and Callum Adele. That's on the 4K. You get this other one, which is an interview with cinematographer Gio Frenzo Battaglia. I think that's his name. So when you get the 4K, you will get everything on here, the improved picture, HDR10 and Dolby Vision. And I would imagine it would look spectacular. Now, when I put this on, I do remember being slightly underwhelmed by this one. I thought it was okay. I thought it was much better than the previous one I had on DVD. But I did think it wasn't the best Blu-ray I've seen. Now, however, I've had a look at the screenshots for the Vinegar Syndrome release, and they look spectacular. This movie actually, it's shot really well. It's got a real feel of a Dario Argento movie. Actually, it feels to me, it looks a bit like Tenebrae. If I had to liken it in visuals, I would liken it to Tenebrae, especially the house in Tenebrae. And I think the premise of this fact that this bloke's like working on this horror movie and he's doing the soundtrack on this horror movie in this house and there's stuff going on, I think that's a really good little twist. So I highly rate this movie and I can't wait to see the 4K. Now the 4K is coming out next week. I think it's the 25th it's coming out, and I'll be straight down to HMV to pick up a copy because I love getting these in the shop. So I'll go and pick this up on Monday morning. I've got every belief to think that this would be a solid upgrade from this Blu-ray. So I'll show you some screenshots of this Blu-ray. Now, I would imagine that the new Blu-ray that comes with the set, if you do get the 4K Blu-ray, which I do think you do, I would think it would be the upgraded Blu-ray. I wouldn't think it would be this one again. I don't think it would go down that route. This one looks, to me, don't forget my phone puts a little bit of HDR on, so when you see it, it might look good, but it looks a bit washed out to me if I had to say anything about it. I think it looks okay. It's not a bad Blu-ray by any means, but it's not, to me, I would think that this could be a solid upgrade on 4K. It's one of those movies because it's kind of light and like at the first half of the movie, then dark. At the second half of the movie, there's a lot of stuff going on in sort of like cellars and places in this house that's like low lighting. So I think in the outside, like next to the pool, which I think would look great on 4K. I think this movie is quite stylish, so I think it could lend to the 4K medium really well. And that's what it's all about, really. You want to pick ones that are not just going to be kind of like an upgrade. You want to get ones that are kind of going to shine on 4K because that's where they can shine. So that's my thoughts on this movie. I do think it's a great movie. I think it's a solid latter-day giallo. I think Lamberto Bava was on a roll at this time. And I do want to get Devouring Waves because I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've never seen it. It's one of those movies that's kind of slipped me by, or you're going to get it abroad and you can't get it for a sensible price. Hopefully, 88 would pick that up and put it in this range because it would be an amazing one to have in this Italian collection. Because don't forget, it says Italian collection. There's a lot of horror in here, a lot of giallos, but they put a lot of stuff with police, cop dramas, all that type of thing because they can. Because this sort of genre, this collection can encapsulate a lot of Italian horror or Italian movies, actually. So anyway, before I go, I just wanted to quickly talk about the upcoming 4K of Count Dracula. Now, when that was talked about, I thought, oh, excellent, they're going to put that one out. Now, if you haven't seen this movie before, I've seen this movie and I was quite disappointed with it, and I'll tell you why. I was thinking it was going to be like a new Hammer movie because it was filmed in 1970. It's got a match made in heaven with Klaus Kinski and Christopher Lee in the same movie. I mean, that's a great selling point as it is. But I do feel that it's not going to, if you think of down the Hammer route like I did, just forget about Hammer and see this as a standalone movie, a retelling of Count Dracula, and it's completely different in flavour to the Hammer movies. So, of course, it was going to come out the same day, 25th, I think it is, to come out with Blade in the Dark. And I went looking on, I thought, right, I'll pick the two of them up. And when I looked online just to make sure it was definitely that date, it's been put back to December, the Christmas time this year. Now, Now, the weird thing about it, I thought, well, maybe they've got a problem with the transfer or something's happened to it, but actually, it's already been released by Severin. You can buy it now by Severin if you want to. And the fact is that I'm thinking, so what's up with this? I've looked online, I can't find anything out about it. It just seems weird that it's put back to that time. I don't think it's going to come out at that time. I think it'll come out way before that. It might only be a month away. But there's no real talk about what the problem is. Might be some rights issues. I'm personally thinking that we're going to put some kind of the extra features on it, and they can't get clearance for some of them because a lot of extra features to go on there, and maybe they can't do it. A bit like Blade in the Dark, I think the Vinegar Syndrome special features are different to the ones that are on the 88 Films one, and I think that's a thing that happens with these special features. You can't really get them transferring over the water for some reason. I don't know why. Probably people want a bit too much for them. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's all about money, isn't it? So not too sure why Count Dracula isn't coming out, but if you get it, and hopefully you'll get it, and I will be getting it, don't expect a Hammer horror movie, because I'm going to go in this with fresh eyes and I'm going to say, right, how's this movie going to entertain me? Don't forget, Jess Franco, as much as I appreciate some of his movies, and he made some great, really bad video nasty movies, I do think that he's not the best director. Just say that. And I think that Christopher Lee, for some mad reason, decided to form a bond with Jess Franco. I can't even understand why that was, but they did. And the weird twist of fate is everybody knows that Jess Franco was the face of Jess Franco was the inspiration behind Yoda. So in a way, when Christopher Lee was fighting Yoda way back in whatever Star Wars film it was, it's strange to think that he was actually fighting an image of Jess Franco. What a story. So yeah, so anyway, I do highly recommend this. I can't wait to see this. I will be buying this straight away and I'll be reviewing it as soon as I get it because I'm really interested to talk about this. I want to go back to these actually. I want to talk about all of these ones. I want to show especially the ones where it started to change into slipcovers because all of the ones there are slipcovers and boxes in this lot because I think that a lot of the artwork is it's great on here, but they're all the same. I know there's some slipcovers there which I haven't got because it would look a bit wouldn't look uniform on there. You know, me and uniformity go hand in hand, don't I? Don't know why I went like that. But yeah, so this one here, I do really want to talk about these extra ones and just showcase a few of these really great, and sometimes they turn up really cheap in CEX, which is odd. I think CEX these days should be called CE expensive because of the way they're going on. But never mind. This is probably about £50 in CX as we speak. Highly, highly anticipated. I've been after this for a long time. I did think about this, the Vinegar Syndrome one. I'm glad I didn't because it was going to be a lot of money. It wouldn't fit into this. I would have to buy it in here again because don't forget, I collect all of this range. This is probably the only range that I collect everything from and I have done from day one. Absolutely brilliant range. Love it. I want to get into the ones that I haven't watched for for a long time or at all, which is roundabout here. So anyway, thanks for watching. You take care, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers.